Episode 3 of Good Doctor Season 7 starts with Sean exercising at home. He and Leah have not been getting enough sleep, and it is beginning to take a toll on them. Leah teases Sean, saying he is getting old, and Sean asks her not to swear in front of the kid. They joke about whether their son will be a rock star because of his good looks. Elsewhere, Asher and his good-looking boyfriend, Jerome, argue about Asher's reluctance to meet Jerome's family. Jerome understands how Asher feels about his family but also wants to introduce his sweet boyfriend to his family. He invites Asher to his niece's confirmation after party. Asher turns him down, saying he has work. As the episode progresses, Kalu advises Asher to reconsider meeting Jerome's family, as they sound like good people. Later, we meet Sean's patient, Phipps. He got drunk at a fraternity party and injured his head during a slap drinking game. Sean, Kalu, Asher, and Charlie are his doctors. Sean is triggered by Charlie interrupting him while talking. Kalu and Asher try to advise Charlie to be careful about what she says and to stop asking too many intrusive questions, such as when she asks if Asher is the top or bottom in his relationship with Jerome. However, Charlie argues her case, stating she is autistic and can't be expected to change herself to be considered professional. The talk is interrupted when they discover what looks like an abscess in their patient's thorax. After running some tests, they are unable to find the abscess. Throughout this case, Sean keeps getting flustered by Charlie's behavior. She interrupts him, gives suggestions out of the blue, and stubbornly insists she is doing nothing wrong. This forces Sean to kick her out of the patient's room. Their patient starts displaying neurological issues, forcing them to run more tests. At the same time, Charlie finds Sean later and tells him that he can't raise his voice at her. She gives him her parameters of effective communication. Sean sends her to the skills lab, and Charlie says she doesn't deserve it since she did nothing wrong. On the other hand, Parker, Jerome, and Dominic work on a man whose hand was caught in a meat grinder. Dominic still struggles not to faint at the sight of blood. Given the case, Parker offers him a chance to sit out of this one, but Dominic refuses. He wants to work on his blood aversion and is determined to see the case through. At least he doesn't faint this time. Upon Lim's suggestion, Parker and his team were able to save the man's hand, but it took 2 cool surgeries. In the first surgery, they amputated the wrist and attached it to his ankle. This allowed them to clean the damaged wrist area and keep the tissues viable. They then treated the patient's infection since they anticipated it. Finally, they did a second surgery a few days later and reattached the wrist. Wow! Outside the hospital, Resnick meets with Leah and informs her that she wants to name her and Sean as Aiden's guardians if something happens. Leah is fluttered and promises to talk to Sean later that night. Sean is happy to be named Aiden's guardian but is distracted by Charlie. Glassman advises him to be more patient with Charlie since she is a medical student. The next morning, Lim gives Sean a different advice. She tells him to be proactive and talk to Charlie about his expectations of her. Lim and Glassman are having issues as co-presidents. Lim wants to appease the new board, but Glassman thinks handling the board's every little concern wastes time. Lim gives up and asks Glassman to deal with Gail, head of the board. In the meantime, Leah tells Resnick that she and Sean are happy to be Aiden's guardians. However, Resnick adds that they will be Aiden's guardians even with Parker in the picture. This comes as a surprise since these two are in a good place. Leah is unsure if she can keep this from Sean, but Resnick asks her to mull over it. However, Resnick changes her mind after talking with Dominic. The latter praises Parker, saying he is a great man, teacher, and doctor. Resnick realizes she has nothing to worry about because Parker will treat Aiden well and be a great dad. She talks to him and tells him about adding him as Aiden's guardian if something happens to her. Concurrently, Sean talks to Charlie and opts to use Lim's advice. He talks to Charlie about what he expects from her. However, Charlie insists she didn't do anything wrong. she only made some suggestions. She mentions her disability and says she has compulsive speech. Sean says that is okay, but she can manage to stay quiet and listen. He threatens to kick her off the case if she insists. The team moves to perform surgery on their patient, and Charlie asks to feel the gallbladder. Asher convinces Sean to let her feel it. She discovers a sharp item on the organ, and they realize their patient has metals in his body. Sean uses a magnet to remove the remaining metal pieces on their patient. Kalu and Asher congratulate Charlie for her discovery, but Sean says nothing. At the end of the day, Parker is happy with Dominic's help, but Sean can't say the same about Charlie. In fact, he tells her she will never be a surgeon, they are nothing alike, and she will most likely make a good pathologist. Damn. He didn't hold back, and this crushes Cheryl. Lim and Glassman find her sad in the elevators. They try to talk to Charlie, but he says no one ever did anything for him. According to Sean, every doctor hated his guts when he first started. Lim and Glassman tell Sean that this is not true, people have made compromises to help him. As such, he should adjust to Charlie and try to accommodate her. Sean refuses to listen to them, stating it is up to him to decide how to handle the students. As for Asher, he meets Jerome's family, and they are amazing and welcoming. The episode review. Is Sean suffering from selective amnesia or something? How can he look Glassman in his face and say no doctor went out of his way to help him? Glassman did everything he could to help Sahan adjust and get the other doctors to give him a chance. Did Sean not understand that it took a lot of compromises to get him to where he is? He needs to cut Charlie some slack. It is not going to be easy, but he should try. He was so cruel to her when he said she would never be a surgeon. She idolizes him, and hearing him say such words must have been heartbreaking. Maybe Charlie should work with Parker for a while, and Sean can take some time to reflect and find a better solution to how he will handle students. On the other hand, Glassman and Lim need to tell the board that they don't want this position. It feels like they are doing it because they have no choice. If they can't agree on how to handle the board's concerns and are doing things separately, it makes things worse. By the end of the episode, Glassman seems to have realized this, so let's see how they cope in the next one. As for Asher, it is good he took Kalu's advice and went to the after-party. Jerome's family seemed great, and they should get to know each other. However, what is Asher truly scared of? Is he afraid Jerome will pop the question soon? Maybe he should be honest with Jerome and have this conversation before things escalate and become a problem. They are my favorite couple on the show, and I don't want to see them break up. Lastly, Resnick made the right decision to add Parker as Aiden's guardian. That man has done nothing but love her. By now, she should know and trust him to be there for her and Aiden no matter what. It's a good thing she realized this before it was too late.